Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by today. My name's Jesse, this is Bill. We're hanging out in the QA1 R&D shop, talking a little bit about Bill's beautiful G-Body Grand National.
This is a 1987 Grand National, the last year of the Grand National. And I was fortunate enough to be a young kid when my dad bought this. It was only about, I think, 4 years old when my dad bought it. So it's been in the family ever since.
Grand National package, you were telling me a little bit about the specifics of that. There were a couple different kinds of, generations of this car, versions of this car, and so the Grand National is special to you. And
yeah, so the Grand National technically was an appearance package on a T-Type. So T-Type cars you could get in different colors. They had chrome bumpers, chrome trim, things like that. And then the Grand National was essentially an appearance package on top of that, which only came in black. Came with the two-tone black and gray interior.
So you probably got some pretty fond memories of this car. What really made you fall in love with this car? I mean, like, do you remember that day when you're like, this one's gonna be mine?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because I think I was about 8 years old when he got it. And I already at that point knew that Grand Nationals were something special, because before he had bought it, I remember, he would see one on the street and he'd get this look in his eyes. So like that translated to me like, ooh, that's a special car.
Right.
And then when he got it, I remember I was so excited when he got a Grand National. I was like, my dad got a Grand National. I was so excited and proud of him, and excited for just the things we would do. And I vividly to this day remember the feeling of being a little kid, and when he would punch it. The back of the seat, this would have been early 90s, and I was a little kid, so I didn't really have any real perspective on what a fast car felt like.
Sure.
But I do vividly remember that, having a hard time keeping my head off of the headrest, as a little kid. And
so is it sitting about the same as it was when it was new, or
Nope.
You talked about a bunch of suspension? It seems like, kind of the heartbeat of it's the same, but you've made some performance gains,
so
on the suspension side.
the way my dad had it, he had some, this would have been early 90s tech, but just some regular gas shocks in the all around.
Okay.
And that did well for what it was doing then.
Sure.
Now it's got drop spindles, it's got hour control arms, it's got coilovers all the way around, front and rear sway bars. So it's got essentially like our whole catalog kind of thrown at it.
All right, so you said your old man was into drag racing quite a bit, but maybe you kind of like to do some other stuff with the car. So how do you like to drive it?
What I really like doing with it is I like trying to use it as a regular car, because I've had other cars where I made it really nice, and then as soon as it was nice, it was like I didn't want to use it as much anymore, or I only took it out for special occasions.
Right.
And I really do like trying to use this as a fairly normal car. I'm hoping to take it out of town this weekend.
Oh, nice.
I like just driving it to work on a random day, things like that. But yeah, the bumpers are stock. The Grand Nationals came with the black ones. Mm-hmm. T-Types come with chrome bumpers typically. So we've tried to maintain some of the, the Grand National stuff. Appearance-wise, it's pretty stock. Stock turbo, heat shield, aftermarket air filter. Got a adjustable fuel pressure regulator. It's got the cam in it and some headwork, but stock intercooler. And we redid the brakes. So these cars had it's called Power Master brake setup, and the whole idea was not to have a vacuum booster, because vacuum booster relies on engine vacuum to give you your power assist. Well, the thought is when you've got a turbo, you could have no brakes if you go straight from in boost to having to stab the brakes, you could lose that. So
that could happen.
We did keep the Power Master setup. There's an electric motor attached to a pump, and that pump stores up pressure in this ball right here. And that added pressure is what gives you your power assist in the whole braking system. So rather than a vacuum diaphragm that is pushing on a piston, you've got a pressurized system that way.
you know, at the end of the day, we want to be able to enjoy these cars, share them with other people. So, you know, what do you like most about, you know, what cars do to bring us together?
I'm gonna expand that slightly to just the motorhead community.
Okay.
Not the sweet rock band. I mean, they're great too. That's a great community in itself. But no, the motorhead community, and I expand that because it can be boat guys, motorcycle community, car community. They're all really tight knit, and they all overlap.
Right.
You know, so like before here, I was working with motorcycles a lot, and you know, those guys motorcycle guys were always ready to help at the drop of a hat. And there's so much overlap between like somebody who's into motorcycles is probably also into cars. So, you know, you go out to these local cruise nights. There's one about, you know, 30, 40 minutes from here that I like going to, and I run into everybody. You know, and once you start doing that, you just walking down the street and you're like, oh, hey, there's that guy. Oh, hey, there's, you
right.
know, and so you've got this whole community, and sometimes they're motorcycle people, sometimes they're hot rod people, sometimes they're, you know, import car people. And at the core of it, it's all just a bunch of people that like these machines,
right.
whether they're 2 or 4 wheels or you know, boat propellers or something.
Yeah.
And we all like understand this common love and desire for, it's not just the car, it's what the car represents and
sure.
what it, you know, the memories it might evoke or the way it makes you feel when you ride in it or drive
right.
it.
Sure. Yep. All right. I think we talked about it enough.
You want to drive it?
Yeah. Let's go drive it, man.
It's got a built-up tranny, so it shifts pretty.
I was gonna say that was pretty crisp shift there. Roundabout, no problem.
Give her the beans.
Got a little giddy up.